You going, are you? Good.
I'm going.
Right, so we got Dan here, our mate. I was going to say something else then in Spanish, but I'm not going to say it. We've got Eloy over there. So what we're going to do, we just went through that process of showing Dan how we laid that slab, all right? But the first thing I'm going to do first, we've got water in this sponge, and as I go, I'm just going to clean this off. Dan, as you can see, clean that off. There's no real cement on there at all, but we've got to keep it clean. The other thing, of course, is that I could come down here now and start laying as I go, but I'm not going to do that because you end up knocking a slab to trying to squeeze it in. It's not even worth it. We could go through the same process as what we've done now. We've got a piece of membrane there, and we've got a slab. These slabs were laid the other day, and we've got the slab on the membrane and covered it over that way as well, just to keep that slab clean. So we're going to put that over here. So what I'm going to do, I'll start laying and I'll talk about what I'm doing. So I can stand on here because they're solid. Always remember, turn the last piece out, bit of muck you had over, because the sun's going to get to it. And always shovel the way you're working. Put that one in there. We've got a wet mix today. Okay. You can see the benefits of shoveling one way because it won't do your back in. So what we're going to do now, push those down there. Let's get the bed ready. So if you're careful, you can get the bed ready more or less with the shovel, saving your back and your knees. I haven't got my pads today, my knee pads. They are over there. So we're going to get that in now. We're just going to take our time with this now. Now we've got to get the bed right. Probably going to need a little bit more muck, Eloy. Medio pala. Just on there. So we can start. I'm getting down now, so I want to show you. I am on my knees, and I know I need some knee pads. I have got them over there. So just there, mate. That's lovely. That's great. So there you are. Start spreading the muck around a little bit more. And what I want to try and do, I want to sort of show you how we get a full bed underneath. Okay, there you are. I'm just following, the trowel is just following just roughly the bottom of the previous laid slab. So there we are, nice and smooth. We've got a 5-to-1 mix here, 5 sharp, and we have got a little bit of SBR in the mix as well as the plasticizer. So there we are. I'm just taking my time now. I'm not going to rush this. So we'll have a look now. Nice flat bed. Now, for me, what I actually do if Eloy wants to bring me a slab, you haven't slurried the slab. Bring a dry slab over, dry one. Dry one, yeah, please. So we've got a nice flat bed on there now. So just show you, thank you, Eloy. There you are. No slurry at this point, okay, and I'll explain that in a moment. So when we put the slab down now, make sure we go nice and easy. We don't want to chip the porcelain. Now we put that slab down, and if you look at that, that is more or less there. But the idea is what we do now is we tap down to the correct height to ensure that there's no lipping on there, okay? But by not putting the slurry on, when we pick this back up, we'll be able to see where we need to add more mortar. Okay, so pick that up. Well, look, have a good look down on there, Dan. You can just see on here, you see the shapes of the porcelain. There's a little bit of a gap there, and there's a little bit of a gap there. So if Eloy has this one off me now, we give that back to Eloy. Eloy's going to slurry that up for me. And now what we're able to do, you can just see here, there's no marking from the back of the slab, so it's not touching, so we put a bit in there and a bit in there. Now, people are going to say, well, there's a lot of work doing that, but I'm showing you only for the purpose of this video, because most of the times I will slurry up straight away. Now, some people will put the trowel through like that and loosen up, create the void, so you're able to push it down. But I don't need to do it in this case because I've got the bed more or less right. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in there because I do want to tap it down a little bit. Always have that tendency to swirl it around. We've got a nice full bed. Now, we've got a slurried slab. Grab that one there. There we are. So that goes on like this. There we are. Now before I tap that down, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure the muck is right the way under the edge of the slab here, so the slab is fully supported. I've always been asked in the past what constitutes a full bed. Well, that's what constitutes a full bed. We know if we take that off, that we know that it's not going to go anywhere. Yes, there is a little bit of cement on there, but I'll sponge that off as I go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tap this down in position before I put the spacers in. I'll explain that in a moment. So I'm going to tap that down. Just going to feel it there now, like that. A little bit more. Now we put our spacers in. And the reason for this is that what you'll find is that if you lay the slab first with the gap in it, okay, it'll tend to move around, certainly if you have a wet mix. But what happens is when you pull the slab away like this and you put your spacer in there like that, you can see what the mortar's doing. The mortar is pulling the slab back into the position it was laid in, okay? That's what it's doing. And that's so important, because if you were to lay it with a gap in first, what happens is that when you try to push it into position, even if it's a mil or a mil and a half, it'll make a massive difference. So my advice is lay it tight, pull it back, drop your spacers in, and what you'll find when you look down there, you won't be able to see it at the moment, but we've got a full bed underneath there, full bed all the way around. And what that ensures as well, that when you put your grout system in, that the grout can't drop down into those deep voids, and it just becomes more expensive when the grout falls in those voids that you didn't expect. And it's those voids that can be problematic at a later date. So I'm just going to tap this down now, and then what I'm going to do, we know that that last join there was right. So what we're going to do now, we're going to drop the level just across this bit here now. Like this. What you've got to do, you've got to be able to get down and literally have a look underneath. Well, that's right. That's absolutely dead on. That's absolutely perfect. Got to fall on it, and the slab is touching, the level is touching the slab all the way across there and all the way across here. So, my tips for laying porcelain is do it right.